Tell me a sound that's better than this.
Yeah, I think you guys know where this is going. Damn, definitely gonna need a few napkins after that one. This is by far the best, most broken rogue build for Season 4. It has absolutely insane amounts of damage, while at the same time staying invincible with unlimited amounts of crowd control. It's in the absolute top tier of all class builds, and during the PTR, it cleared tier 200 pits with ease, which is the absolute hardest content in the game, and it's of course the rapid fire rogue build. Now, if you've played this game more than the crying Reddit member, in other words, more than like 10 minutes, then you're probably confused to shit why it looks my character is shooting out flaming hot kidney stones out of his dick. And that, my friends, is the new unique ring for rogues, the Scoundrel's Kiss. This item single-handedly made rapid fire go from a mediocre skill to an absolute godlike ability. Not only that, though, but since testing rapid fire on the PTR, I've spent countless of hours doing highly intellectual planning and min-maxing of this build, and I'm finally ready to share it. One thing I instantly did was throw caltrops in the goddamn trash and instead incorporated Shadow Step for mad mobility, as well as an easy way to proc the tricks of the Trade Legendary node for a whopping 25% multiplicative damage. And talking about legendary nodes, the Paragon Board strategy has changed massively in the new season. For starts, we're now able to upgrade specific stats on our gear. And by upgrading crit damage, we're accomplishing two things. First, a shit ton of damage for the Precision Key passive. Secondly, insane amounts of additive damage. And this, my friends, means that we can ditch every goddamn additive node in the Paragon Board to instead focus on all those yummy legendary nodes and bonuses. And what does this mean? Oh, you're goddamn right. It means that this build will be scaling insanely hard, just making it better and better the more we play. So what you're seeing on the screen is just one baby step to becoming the literal god we were meant to be. All right. And now you're probably like, oh, Mr. Paragaming Big Dick Senpai, please teach me the ways of this build. Okay, stop simping, my man. I'll teach you the ways. Don't worry. We've talked a bit about the big damn of this build. But what about the survivability and crowd control? Well, it's rather easy. For survivability, well,
I've got a peer-reviewed study right here that says... says you're a pussy.
And when it comes to crowd control, by imprinting Icy Alchemist's aspect, our shadow imbuements will freeze everything around us with ease. But wait, isn't shadow imbuement on a long-as-hell cooldown? Yes, but by grabbing the Nightstalker glyph along with concealment and resistant assailants aspect, resetting concealment becomes easier than subscribing to my amazing channel. And on top of that, we're even able to grab concealment cooldown reduction on our gear, without losing out on any important stats. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah, but that's not all. We're also getting a new aspect that provides even more crowd control, the concussive strikes aspect. This one is rather amazing, both giving us bonus damage and daze. And now we must be done with crowd control, right? Hell no, we even get lucky hit to freeze enemies as well. Combining all of these different crowd controls, we can stagger bosses with ease and become an immortal god. Alright, so that's all the basics. There are, however, a bunch more important things to consider, and we'll start by checking out the gear and aspects. And to protect that massive high IQ head of yours, you'll want to slap on a helmet. Aspect of Might is actually massive in the new season, as we can't get damage reduction on gear anymore. Unless you're completely colorblind, you'll also see a stat that is highlighted in orange here. This is what you want to try and masterwork in the end game, as it's, in my opinion, the most important stat. And here, cooldown reduction is the GOAT. For the chest, you'll be looking to imprint the Juggernaut aspect. In Season 4, the new armor cap will be around 9,000 armor, and by grabbing this, we don't have to give a shit about armor anywhere else, which is pretty damn neat. Other than that, you'll be looking for defensives as usual, and you can also get dexterity on armor pieces now, which is insanely good to deal big damn. When it comes to gloves, you'll want the element's aspect for big stonks. The most important stat to grab here is ranks to rapid fire, followed by attack speed and crit damage. This goes for all offensive pieces. Crit damage and attack speed is the best by far, and you'll be looking to reach 100% attack speed bonus from gear. Next, we have the pants. Resistant Assailant's aspect is what keeps resetting our concealment, which is insanely important. Other than that, defensives is the way to go, as rogues are thin as fuck. This is the new aspect I was talking about, Concussive Strikes aspect. Usually you'll want movement speed aspects on boots, but since we're able to get a ton of movement speed on our gear, it's not necessary. And this one is absolutely amazing. So get it, damn it. And now we have the weapons. There are 3 stats that is absolutely goated here, and that is attack speed, dexterity, and crit damage. This is due to them all increasing your damage via different damage buckets rather than just getting shitty additive damage. And that is hecking nice. You can also get this amazing tempering manual in Season 4 to enchant on your weapons. Chance to cast rapid fire twice. You'll simply get this, enchant it on all of your weapons, and suddenly you'll double the amounts of rapid fire. And for aspects, you'll imprint aspect of the expectant on your two-hander. In this build, we'll be using combo points, which means that we always use 3 basic skills before every big stonk rapid fire. And by imprinting this aspect, we get an easy 60% damage bonus. For the other weapons, you'll want to grab Edgemaster's aspect along with the repeating aspect for more damage and arrows. Then, we have the jewelry. For the amulet, you'll want to grab the rapid aspect. Since someone at Blizzard fucked up attack speed in this game, you have 2 buckets of attack speed. This one is not counted towards the cap from gear, so that's pretty sick. You'll also look to cap out movement speed, get some cooldown reduction, and ranks to finesse. And what the hell is ranks to finesse even? Well, it's this one. And in this build, we'll freeze everything with ease, which means this passive can grant us an additional 30% multiplicative damage. Yummers. And lastly, the rings. These are the most important pieces in this build by far, and it's of course the Icy Alchemist's aspect, freezing all enemies around us, and Scoundrel's Kiss. Blizz will be changing the Scoundrel's Kiss a bit for Season 4, making it easier to hit stuff on range, effectively making this build yet even stronger. And what is better than best? Yeah, goddamn fucking bonkers is what it is. Great job, friends. Gear and aspects are now done. Let's check out my highly intellectual skill tree now. But first, I'm just letting you know that in the planner, there will also be a leveling guide for this build. The main difference is that you'll throw in penetrating shot as you're leveling up, and then ditch that once you get the unique ring from Lord Zir, aka the cause of the COVID-19 pandemic. Alright, let's get back to work. We'll of course start with puncture, along with enhanced and fundamental puncture for that easy vulnerability. After that, we'll head on over to the core skills and max out rapid fire, along with enhanced and advanced rapid fire for big damn. We'll also grab sturdy here to not fucking dial Mao. Next we go to the agility skills. Here we want both shadow step and dash to become fast as fuck boy, as well as to take advantage of some insane paragon nodes. Weapon mastery is also important for big DPS. We'll be looking to use a crossbow here, and 15% crit damage is a hell yes for me. After that, we want to max out concealment along with enhanced and countering concealment. To make sure we get 1 extra confirmed crit, every time we stealth. We also have Agile and Mending Obscurity here, which is our main source of healing. And lastly, Exploit and Malice simply grants us more Big Damn. In the imbuement skills, we have the most important skill for us, Shadow Imbuement. We also have Mixed Shadow Imbuement for more damage. And this is where you find Frigid Finesse. 30% extra damage against frozen enemies. Hell yeah, baby! In the ultimate skills, we're simply picking up some passives. Alchemist's Fortune grants us some lucky hit chance, which is useful for our Icy Alchemist's aspect. We also have Impetus, which grants us an extra 21% damage. Then finally, we have the key passive. The Precision passive is absolutely bonkers. Every time we stack up combo points, our rapid fire will crit and deal big damage. It also changes our additive crit bonus to grant us multiplicative damage, which is massive in Season 4. Nicely done, we successfully dealt with the skill tree. Now subscribe for fuck's sake and become a member as well. You'll become a literal Paragaming-based King Uber Giga Chad with ease, which is worth a goddamn fortune. All right, now there's but two things left, the Paragon and how to get good. In the starting board, we're picking up the Marksman Ranger glyph. We're picking it up to get a permanent 10% damage reduction, which is important as else you'll... Yeah, you know where this is going. You'll fucking die, Mao. We then go to the tricks of the trade board to pick up the legendary node. Every time you use either dash or shadow step, your next marksman skill deals 25% more damage. So make sure that it's actually your rapid fire and not puncture that you use afterwards, LOL. Here we also socket exploit. This glyph spreads vulnerability faster than AIDS in the 90s. After that, we go to the Cunning Stratagem board and grab the legendary node. Your non-combo point bonuses? What in the actual fuck? Yep, damn confusing. But in rapid fire, combo points both deal more damage and send out more arrows the more combo points you have. And by grabbing this, you'll simply get more arrows every time you stack up combo points. Pretty neat, am I right? Yeah. And for glyph, you'll grab Night Stalker. This is what keeps resetting our Shadow Imbuement whenever we use Concealment, as it's a stealth ability. And in the endgame, it allows us to use Shadow Imbuement in every attack, which is dank as hell. On the right side here, we also have the Eldritch Bounty board, which we use for the legendary node. You'll, however, want to grab this as the last board, as we're not using any rare nodes here. Instead, you'll want to go the Exploit Weakness board next, grab that yummy legendary node, and socket combat. 20% crit damage per node. Hell yeah. And this is where I managed to socket as many nodes as possible, making it the perfect location. And finally, the Cheap Shot board. The legendary node grants us 25% damage, as long as we keep 5 enemies crowd-controlled, which we do with ease. We also socket canny here for yet another 10% multiplicative damage. You'll notice I barely gave a shit about any rare nodes now, and that's what we talked about earlier. We already have massive amounts of additive damage, and this will be true for all builds moving forward. The only rare nodes that we want are ones that we can turn multiplicative, or are important for defensives, such as dexterity or max life. Well, goddamn, that's the Paragons done. Only one thing left now, to get hecking good. The build is quite simple as you get used to it, but it's no brain-dead barbarian build, that's for sure. As this is a combo points build, you'll always want to get 3 basic attacks before every rapid fire. When you've done that, you can pop Shadow Imbuement and bust all over your enemies. To reset Shadow Imbuement, you simply use Concealment. Now, to maximize the damage you do, you should also try to stack up combo points and use either Dash or Shadow Step before you use Rapid Fire. Or just don't do it if it's too much to keep track of. I don't really give a shit. And that, my friends, is all for this guide. The planner is in the description. Until next time, stay shredded, kings.